The primordial energies of the warp, known more commonly as chaos, can be encountered throughout almost the entirety of the Milky Way galaxy. The influence of chaos seeps into the material universe through numerous methods, such as spilling from tears that appear within the very fabric of reality, such as the Eye of Terror, or through the minds of individuals known as psychers, whose psyches can tap into the essence of the warp and use its energies in a number of ways. Such methods include unleashing storms of psychic lightning upon one's enemies, or being able to predict the outcome of future events. The power of chaos corrupts those exposed to it both on a spiritual and physical level, and those touched by the warp will usually, though not always, sport physical mutations, such as bloat and decay within those blessed by Nurgle, for example. Several different races have had certain individuals, or even entire groups, fall under its corrupting influence. While humanity is the race most commonly depicted as falling to chaotic corruption, they are far from being the only ones to do so, as orcs, Tau, and even gene stealers have all had individuals of their respective species that have fallen to the taint of chaos. Those who do fall under the influence of chaos can become subjected to deliberate or inadvertent demonic possession, as detailed with the case of the Tau known as Pormalkeor, or they band together with others of their kind to form a cult dedicated to the worship of the Ruinous Powers, such as that shown with the Khorne Stormboys Orc Warband. The corruption of some races will be so deeply ingrained that they will even base their entire culture around the worship of the Chaos Gods, such as the Xenos race known as the Lair, who developed their entire civilization based around the worship of the Chaos God Slanesh. And yet, one race above all others is seemingly immune to chaotic corruption: the Necrons. The Necrons themselves are an ancient race of robotic constructs that once controlled a vast galactic empire long before the evolution of humanity. So old are the Necrons that they existed even before the birth of the Chaos Gods as we know them today, which began to take shape within the warp during the aftermath of the Necrons' war with the ancient race known as the Old Ones. But the question is, can Necrons ever become corrupted by chaos? Initially, the answer would appear to be no due to a variety of factors. The first of these factors is due to the biotransference process that the ancient Necron-tier civilization underwent to transform them into the Necrons. This process allowed the godlike beings known as the Khitan to feast upon the life force of the Necron tier as they were transmuted into their new robotic forms, which is initially implied to be the very souls of the Necron tier race. As a result of this biotransference and the apparent loss of their souls, many lower-ranking Necron tier, particularly the civilian population, lost much of, or even all of their sentience and sense of identity altogether. Even Sharek, the last of the Silent Kings, would lament the fact that their immortality had come at the expense of their souls. The second issue is the fact that many Necron tomb complexes feature large quantities of a material known as Blackstone within their construction. Blackstone itself is a rather unique material that, when polarized in a particular way, acts as a type of psychic inhibitor. The structures known as pylons that have been found upon many worlds, such as Cadia, are also constructed from this substance, and can not only stabilize, but also repel warp-based energies. The novel Sons of the Hydra details that various such constructs were upon the world of Royal Belphegor, which itself was one of the original Necron homeworlds, and prevented the sorcerer Carcinus Quoda from using his psychic powers while they were still active. So such factors would render Necrons immune to chaotic corruption of any kind, surely? Not necessarily. Necrons themselves, while considered soulless, are not considered to be blanks. Blanks, also known as pariahs and untouchables, are soulless individuals whose very presence nullifies warp-based energies. While they will still be able to be harmed by objects hurled at them via telekinesis, their mere presence and the aura that they generate will render themselves and those in close proximity to them immune to other forms of warp-based powers, such as pyrokinesis and telepathy. In addition, this aura is also known to cause intense pain to psychers, even to the point of incapacitation in certain cases. Necrons, however, do not share this ability. There have been many documented cases of Necron warriors and Necron lords being affected by the powers unleashed by psychers. One such example is within the novel Fall of Damnos, where the Ultramarines' chief librarian Tigerius was able to unleash a tempest of psychic lightning against the encroaching Necron forces, and even telepathically link his mind to one of the Necron lords present upon the world. There is also the fact that having a soul is not a necessary factor for something to become chaotically corrupted. Vehicles, robotic constructs, and STCs have all shown to be able to be altered and tainted by warp energies. There is also the case of a soulless human known as Spear. Spear was initially an experiment undertaken by the Calexis Temple of the Officio Assassinorum to make a more powerful form of assassin known as a Black Pariah during the final days of the Great Crusade. However, Spear was considered to be too unstable, too unpredictable, and too dangerous, and thus ordered to be destroyed. But Spear would be captured by the Wordbearers Legion, and through a long and agonizing ritual conducted by the Dark Apostle Erebus, a demonic entity would be bound to his body. Erebus then intended to use Spear in order to assassinate the Emperor of Mankind. In addition, while Blackstone can act as a psychic inhibitor, if polarized in the correct manner, the material itself can instead act as a psychic amplifier. This was demonstrated with the Blackstone fortresses used throughout the course of the Gothic War and the 13th Black Crusade, which unleashed destructive blasts of empiric energy as well as sustaining the presence of demonic creatures on board, as opposed to simply nullifying their presence and banishing them back to the warp. In fact, it was this reversal in the material's polarity which resulted in at least one tomb world becoming corrupted by chaotic energies, as detailed with the following passage in the 7th edition Necron Codex.
The demon prince, Shuketh Voidmaw, infects the tomb world of Vorketh with the taint of chaos. Vorketh's regent awakens to find his crypts transformed, and his legions already locked in battle.
The language used in this particular passage is rather vague, as it doesn't state whether the Necrons upon Vorketh were locked in battle with just Voidmaw, Chaos Space Marines, demons, or even the possibility of Necrons tainted by the powers of chaos. The fact that the tomb world itself was corrupted would seem to insinuate that at least some of the Necrons within the Vorkethian crypts could have very well been corrupted. As well as this, there is also the fact that Necron pylons can indeed suffer from catastrophic overload if there is an overabundance of warp energy, as detailed within the Fall of Cadia. When the pylons were activated, they began to push back and nullify the tide of energy stemming from the Eye of Terror, though they would eventually fail. The possibility of Chaos Necrons is also supported with the champion of Slaanesh known as Lucius the Eternal. Lucius has a unique gift amongst Chaos champions bestowed upon him by Slaanesh herself. Should Lucius ever fall in battle, then his killer may become possessed by the spiritual essence of Lucius if they took even the smallest piece of satisfaction from the kill. This allows Lucius to resurrect himself through possessing the body of his killer. The 8th edition Chaos Space Marine Codex details the following passage, with Lucius possessing the body of a Necron warrior who managed to slay him.
Eventually, on a nameless moon near Damnos, Lucius is cut down by the shape-shifting Necron duelist, known only as the Phasing Sword. Not even the Necron's body of living metal can prevent the Slaaneshi champion's strange possession curse from taking hold. However, for it takes cold pride in its victory, and that is the seed of its undoing. Lucius is reborn inside his killer within days, the Xenos warrior's body drizzling away to reveal the twisted swordsman as arrogant and maniacal as ever.
This would seem to suggest that if the essence of a Chaos champion can very well take possession of a Necron in order to resurrect himself, then it should also be theoretically possible for a demonic entity to possess the shell of a Necron warrior, corrupt it, or even take control of it. Ultimately, while the Necrons may have greater preparations in regards to warding off the corrupting influence of warp energies, nothing can truly withstand the tide of chaos forever. What do you think? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.